Okay, in my previous video, I shared some tips on how to manage your colors using AT Color Manager, and you get the site to a point where you're really happy with your colors, and you want to make sure that you have a point-in-time snapshot. So if you hand it over to someone to do work on it, or hand it to the client and they mess it up, you have a way of getting back to that point. Now, I'm also going to make this even worse by adding in some additional changes. So I'm going to go to my, actually I'm not going to make any changes just yet. I'm going to make a snapshot of everything that we can restore to if we need to. And the way we do that with Advanced Themer is we go into our theme settings, AT theme settings, we go to our global settings, import and export, and what we do is we want to toggle everything on for exporting. We're going to export those settings. So we're exporting everything. I've already got the file name there. You can change that to be the customer name if you want to. I would typically leave it as that, maybe even put a date on it, and then put it in the client folder so you know at that point in time, this is all the settings from Bricks and AT for that website. So hit the save button on that. It's going to replace that file and hit close. All right, now I have a complete snapshot of this website. So if I go back to that website now and I go in there and I mess up my color, so I go to the primary and let's say we make that this weird color here, make it a green, ugly green. Here we go. We don't want that color. And you notice that because they've messed with your primary, you've got an unlinked primary D4. Now your primary D4 colors on your cards are wrong. We're going to make it even worse. Let's go back into here and we're going to go to our variable manager and we're going to go to topography and let's set our type scale to be over the top. Let's go way over the top here. We're going to set that to an octave. Hit save. Okay, now we've got oversized headings. Our primary color's changed, but our primary dark 4 hasn't changed. This is something I would say is not what we delivered to the client or before our tech started working on it and messed it up. This is not what we want, right? Okay, so how do we restore that? Now the problem with settings in WordPress is and this is all page builders do this, is they save their settings in the options tables. And the options tables in WordPress do not have history or revisions. Posts and pages, when you save them, you get WordPress history and you can restore to points in time. You can't do that with options. So all your theme settings, your colors, your variables, your classes, you cannot restore those to a point in time unless you have a strategy to do that, which could be server backups, which I do. But here is a better way because we've made a snapshot of that in point in time by exporting that using AT. We can now go back to our AT theme settings, global settings, import and export. This could be a week down the track, a month down the track. Your tech, their admin person has messed up the website, whatever it is. You come back into here, you go, okay, what have you messed up? Okay, you messed up the colors, so we're going to set up we're going to restore our colors. You messed up the CSS variables, we're going to restore that. There's all these bricks settings in here that you can restore, the theme settings, whatever you need to restore. You can just click on these and then we want to override the settings, choose the file. This is the one we exported a month ago or whatever it was. Click on that, import the settings. It's going to import the CSS variables, categories, and colors. Reload the page. All right, now we go back and refresh. And now we're back to where we were a month ago when we handed this over to the technician or the client and they messed it up in the meantime. We've just restored to our point in time, but only the settings we needed, which was the colors and the variables in this case. So I think it's a really interesting thing. I think it's something that probably should be built into Bricks. There's lots of should be's in Bricks, but in all page builders in fairness. But the fact that AT has this is an absolute godsend. I typically will do this before I hand over a Bricks website to a client. I take a full export of all the settings, then I have a point in time reference of when I handed it over. All right, I'm going to leave it at that.